10,000 words in English. Levels from A0 to C2. Part number 20. Welcome to the new series of the Talk English Fluently channel. In this fresh collection, I will be explaining 10,000 words that cover levels from A0 to C2. This is a vast and rich compilation of words that will greatly enhance your English language skills. Please watch the video until the end, and if you have any suggestions for improving future videos in this series, kindly leave them in the comments section. I appreciate your support through comments, likes, and subscribing to my channel. Ready to begin. Let's go. Part number 20. 500 words.
Mutate.
The virus can mutate rapidly, making it hard to control.
Scientists observed how the bacteria mutate under different conditions.
Gram.
The letter weighed exactly 1 gram.
Please measure out 50 grams of sugar for the recipe.
Esoteric.
The professor's lecture was filled with esoteric references.
Only a few people understood the esoteric language used in the book.
Display.
She arranged the flowers in a beautiful display on the table.
The museum will display ancient artifacts next month.
Wander.
We like to wander through the park on sunny afternoons.
The child began to wander away from the group.
Smarted.
She smarted from the harsh criticism of her work.
His arm smarted after he accidentally scraped it on the wall.
Transcend.
Great art can transcend time and culture.
They wanted to create something that would transcend ordinary experiences.
Intermediary.
We need an intermediary to help resolve this conflict.
The lawyer acted as an intermediary between the two parties.
Function.
The main function of this device is to measure temperature.
The main function of the heart is to pump blood.
archive,
She decided to archive all her old emails.
The library has an extensive archive of historical documents.
ordinance,
The city passed an ordinance to improve air quality.
Violating the noise ordinance can result in a fine.
delicate,
The issue was a delicate matter, requiring a sensitive approach.
The delicate flowers needed careful handling.
refund,
If you're not satisfied, you can request a refund.
The company offered a full refund for the defective product.
audiovisual,
They installed an audiovisual system in the conference room.
The presentation included audiovisual aids to enhance understanding.
longevity,
The longevity of the project depends on continued funding.
She is known for her longevity in the industry.
hysteria,
The media coverage led to public hysteria about the new virus.
The announcement caused mass hysteria among the fans.
pertinent,
Please provide all pertinent information in your report.
The lawyer asked questions that were pertinent to the case.
barbarian,
The movie depicted the protagonist as a lone barbarian in a hostile land.
The ancient Romans viewed the invading tribes as barbarians.
excel,
She strives to excel in her studies.
He will likely excel in his new job due to his skills.
visor,
The cyclist wore a helmet with a clear visor.
She lowered her car's visor to block the sun.
panel,
The panel of experts discussed the new policy.
They installed a solar panel on the roof.
inept,
The new intern seemed inept at managing his tasks.
His inept handling of the situation made things worse.
trundle,
The old cart began to trundle down the hill.
They watched the train trundle slowly into the station.
Acrimony.
Their partnership dissolved in acrimony and resentment.
The debate ended with surprising acrimony.
Guild.
He joined the local writers' guild for support and networking.
The guild set high standards for its members' work.
Coyote.
Coyote held under the full moon.
We spotted a coyote near the edge of the forest.
Robot.
The factory uses a robot to assemble the products.
She programmed the robot to perform simple tasks.
Virtual.
He enjoys playing virtual reality games.
The team held a virtual meeting to discuss the project.
Cradle.
She gently rocked the baby in the cradle.
The region is considered the cradle of ancient civilization.
Extraordinary.
The rescue team did an extraordinary job in difficult conditions.
She has an extraordinary talent for music.
Elate.
Winning the competition will surely elate her.
The good news served to elate everyone's spirits.
Technicality.
Understanding the technicality of the process is crucial.
The case was dismissed due to a legal technicality.
Alloy.
Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin.
The new alloy is both lightweight and durable.
Craze.
Fidget spinners were a huge craze last year.
The new dance craze has taken over the city.
Czar.
The museum had an exhibit on the last Russian Tsar.
The Tsar implemented several reforms during his reign.
Articulate.
He struggled to articulate his feelings during the meeting.
She is able to articulate her thoughts clearly.
Exuberant.
The children were exuberant at the park.
Her exuberant personality made her the life of the party.
Essence.
The perfume captured the essence of fresh roses.
The essence of his argument was clear.
Tick.
He could hear the clock tick in the silent room.
A small tick on his leg was removed carefully.
Subconscious.
Her subconscious fears influenced her actions.
The idea lingered in his subconscious mind.
Multidisciplinary.
The project required a multidisciplinary approach.
The team was composed of multidisciplinary experts.
Scurry.
She watched the children scurry to their next class.
The mice scurry across the kitchen floor.
Vie.
Several companies vie for the top spot in the market.
Athletes from all over the world vie for the gold medal.
Notate.
She learned to notate music during her lessons.
Please notate the changes in the document.
Captivate.
The magician's performance will captivate the audience.
Her storytelling skills captivate her listeners.
Corpus.
The corpus of laws was updated recently.
The linguists analyzed a large corpus of texts.
Helium.
They filled the balloons with helium.
Helium is used in many scientific experiments.
Obey.
He promised to obey the rules of the game.
Dogs that are well trained obey commands easily.
Inflect.
You need to inflect your voice to convey different meanings.
The teacher showed us how to inflect words properly.
Terrific.
The food at the restaurant was terrific.
She gave a terrific performance in the play.
Languid.
The heat made them feel languid and tired.
She She moved with a languid grace across the room.
Indulge.
He decided to indulge his curiosity about the subject.
She likes to indulge in a little chocolate every day.
Pyramid.
The tourists visited the Great Pyramid of Giza.
They built a small pyramid out of sand.
Judiciary.
The judiciary branch interprets the laws.
The judiciary plays a crucial role in the government.
Gait.
His gait was slow and deliberate.
She recognized him by his distinctive gait.
Swagger.
The athlete's swagger was evident after winning the game.
He walked into the room with a confident swagger.
Reprimand.
The manager issued a stern reprimand for the mistake.
She received a reprimand for arriving late to work.
Hereby.
She hereby agrees to the terms and conditions.
I hereby declare the meeting open.
Cashier.
The cashier processed my payment quickly.
He worked as a cashier at the local grocery store.
Speck.
She noticed a small speck of dirt on her dress.
There was a speck of dust on the lens.
Lofty.
The lofty mountain peaks were covered in snow.
His lofty goals inspired everyone.
Prerogative.
As the manager, he has the prerogative to change the policy.
It's her prerogative to make that decision.
Phony.
She could tell his smile was phony.
The company warned against buying phony products online.
Sidle.
The cat would sidle up to him for attention.
He tried to sidle past without being noticed.
Bravado.
His bravado often got him into trouble.
She hid her fears behind a mask of bravado.
Defunct.
The old factory has been defunct for years.
The company is now defunct after the bankruptcy.
Rail.
He held onto the rail as he climbed the stairs.
The train moved smoothly along the rail.
Interior.
They explored the interior regions of the country.
The interior of the house was beautifully decorated.
Inescapable.
The truth was inescapable, no matter how much he denied it.
The consequences of his actions were inescapable.
Pad.
Cat slept on a soft pad by the window.
She wrote the notes on a yellow pad.
Negotiate.
They need to negotiate the terms of the contract.
He tried to negotiate a lower price for the car.
Define.
It's important to clearly define your goals.
Can you define this word for me?
Imperative.
It is imperative that we finish the project on time.
Maintaining safety standards is imperative in this job.
Urgent.
The message was marked as urgent and needed immediate attention.
She received an urgent call from her boss.
Error.
The report contained a significant error.
He corrected the error in the document.
Flats.
They rented a small flat in the city center.
She prefers to wear flats rather than high heels.
Geometry.
She is studying geometry in her math class.
The architecture incorporates complex geometry.
Equivocal.
The results of the study were equivocal and required further analysis.
His answer was equivocal, leaving everyone confused.
Vetting.
The committee is vetting the candidates for the position.
Proper vetting is essential before approving any new policy.
Rebuff.
His proposal was met with a sharp rebuff.
She faced a polite rebuff when she asked for a promotion.
Tantamount.
His resignation was tantamount to an admission of guilt.
Ignoring the warning is tantamount to inviting trouble.
Patriot.
The film portrayed her as a dedicated patriot.
He considered himself a true patriot.
Dote.
She loves to dote on her grandchildren.
He tends to dote on his dog, spoiling it with treats.
Arise.
Opportunities arise when you least expect them.
New problems may arise during the project.
Totalitarian.
The book describes a totalitarian regime.
The people suffered under the totalitarian government's strict control.
Adultery.
Adultery was considered a serious offense in that society.
The novel deals with themes of love and adultery.
Administrative.
She handles the administrative tasks for the office.
The administrative staff ensured everything ran smoothly.
Heroine.
She became a national heroine for her actions.
The heroine of the story is brave and resourceful.
Broom.
She used a broom to sweep the floor.
The broom was kept in the corner of the kitchen.
Disposition.
Her calm disposition helped in stressful situations.
He has a cheerful disposition that everyone likes.
Bemoan.
They bemoan the loss of traditional values.
He often bemoans his lack of free time.
Torment.
She was tormented by guilt after the incident.
The nightmares continued to torment him.
Denote.
A red flag can denote danger.
The word bark can denote the sound a dog makes.
Valentine.
She asked him to be her Valentine.
He gave her a beautiful card on Valentine's Day.
Enclose.
Please enclose a check with your application.
The garden is enclosed by a high fence.
Altar.
The couple stood before the altar to exchange vows.
They placed flowers on the altar.
Streamer.
Colorful streamers decorated the party room.
The streamer celebrated their one-year anniversary on the platform.
Intrigue.
His plans intrigued everyone at the meeting.
The mystery novel is full of intrigue and suspense.
Propensity.
She has a propensity to talk too much.
His propensity for risk-taking made him a successful entrepreneur.
Wreath.
A wreath was laid on the grave in honor of the fallen soldier.
They hung a wreath on the front door for the holidays.
Arbitrate.
They asked a neutral third party to arbitrate the dispute.
The judge decided to arbitrate in the commercial conflict.
Penetrate.
The marketing team worked hard to penetrate the new market.
The knife could not penetrate the thick armor.
Agency.
She applied for a job at a travel agency.
The government agency issued new regulations this week.
Embattled.
The embattled CEO faced numerous challenges from shareholders.
The embattled city was surrounded by enemy forces.
Palsy.
The doctor diagnosed the patient with cerebral palsy.
His hands trembled as if with palsy.
Pencil.
He sharpened his pencil before starting the test.
She used a pencil to sketch the outline.
Jurist.
The experienced jurist was respected by all in the legal community.
The jurist delivered a lecture on constitutional law.
Draft.
He enjoyed a refreshing draught of beer at the pub.
The cold draft from the window made her shiver.
Distract.
Loud noises can easily distract students from their studies.
He tried to distract himself with music while waiting for the news.
Oblige.
They felt obliged to help their neighbors after the storm.
She was happy to oblige with the request.
Vivid.
She gave a vivid description of her travels.
The painting was filled with vivid colors.
Proximal.
The injury was located at the proximal part of the limb.
The proximal end of the bone was fractured.
Underdog.
Everyone cheered for the underdog in the championship match.
The movie is about an underdog who rises to success.
Transistor.
Advances in transistor technology revolutionized electronics.
The old radio was powered by a transistor.
Exclaim.
"I can't believe it!" she exclaimed in surprise.
He couldn't help but exclaim when he saw the beautiful view.
Smug.
Her smug attitude annoyed everyone.
He had a smug look after winning the argument.
Recycle.
It's important to recycle paper, plastic, and glass.
The school started a program to recycle old electronics.
Euphoria.
The crowd was in euphoria after their team won the game.
She felt a sense of euphoria after receiving the good news.
Croak.
The frog's croak was loud and clear by the pond.
He could only croak a few words before his voice gave out.
Rotary.
The Rotary Club organized a community service event.
The old rotary phone was still in working condition.
worm,
The bird pulled a worm out of the ground.
She found a worm in the garden soil.
heckle,
They began to heckle the speaker during the debate.
The comedian handled the heckler with a quick retort.
infamous,
The town is infamous for its haunted house.
The dictator was infamous for his brutal regime.
rosary,
The nun held a rosary during her prayer.
She prayed with her rosary every evening.
recrimination,
The argument quickly turned into a series of recriminations.
There were mutual recriminations after the deal fell through.
sovereign,
The sovereign made a decree to benefit the people.
The country gained sovereign status after years of struggle.
augment,
They plan to augment their income by starting a side business.
The new features will augment the app's functionality.
elucidate,
She asked him to elucidate his point further.
The professor attempted to elucidate the complex theory.
potent,
The medicine is very potent and should be taken with care.
His speech had a potent impact on the audience.
amenable,
The manager is amenable to suggestions from the team.
She was amenable to the idea of a new project.
fiancé,
He introduced his fiancée to his friends at the party.
They plan to get married next year, and his fiancée is very excited.
pep,
The cheerleader's performance added pep to the game.
She gave a pep talk to motivate the team.
nascent,
The nascent company is already showing great promise.
They are investing in nascent technologies.
priory,
The monks lived in the ancient priory for centuries.
The priory was known for its beautiful gardens.
swab,
The nurse used a swab to clean the wound.
He took a DNA sample with a cotton swab.
derelict,
They explored the derelict shipwreck on the beach.
The derelict building was an eyesore in the neighborhood.
yogurt,
She eats yogurt with fruit for breakfast.
The recipe calls for a cup of plain yogurt.
victor,
He emerged as the victor after a tough battle.
The victor of the competition will receive a prize.
whoa,
Whoa, that's amazing, she exclaimed.
He pulled the reins and shouted, "Whoa," to stop the horse.
sway,
Her speech had the power to sway many opinions.
The trees began to sway in the strong wind.
rejuvenate,
The vacation helped rejuvenate her spirits.
The spa treatment will rejuvenate your skin.
toddle,
They watched their toddler toddle around the playground.
The baby began to toddle across the room.
stool,
He sat on a stool by the kitchen counter.
The bar was equipped with high stools for customers.
armory,
The armory was well guarded and secure.
The soldiers stored their weapons in the armory.
bask,
She likes to bask in the sun on the beach.
The cat found a spot to bask in the warm sunlight.
besiege,
Reporters besieged the celebrity with questions.
The army planned to besiege the fortress at dawn.
kiosk,
She bought a newspaper from the kiosk.
The information kiosk provided maps and guides.
visible,
Her excitement was visible to everyone.
The mountains were visible from the balcony.
freight,
The train carried a large amount of freight.
The company specializes in international freight shipping.
Serial.
The police were investigating a serial burglar.
He watched the latest episode of his favorite serial.
Ammunition.
The soldiers ran low on ammunition during the battle.
The debate provided plenty of ammunition for both sides.
Sterling.
His sterling reputation made him the best candidate.
She wore a sterling silver necklace.
Echelon.
He worked hard to reach the upper echelon of the company.
The decision was made by the top echelon of management.
Strategy.
He developed a strategy to improve his game.
The company needs a new marketing strategy.
Undervalue.
Don't undervalue your own contributions.
The stock is currently undervalued by the market.
Vacancy.
The hotel had no vacancies for the weekend.
There is a vacancy in the accounting department.
Rebel.
The rebel forces took control of the city.
As a teenager, he had a strong rebel streak.
Resin.
The tree's resin has medicinal properties.
The artist used resin to create the sculpture.
Peak.
She took a quick peek inside the box.
He couldn't resist a peek at his birthday presents.
Definitive.
She wrote the definitive guide on the subject.
The study provided a definitive answer to the question.
Align.
The parts must align perfectly for the machine to work.
She decided to align her goals with the company's mission.
Postgraduate.
The university offers a variety of postgraduate programs.
He is pursuing postgraduate studies in biology.
Touchy.
He can be quite touchy about his work.
Be careful, that's a touchy subject for her.
Ashore.
They found a secluded spot ashore to have a picnic.
The boat finally came ashore after the long journey.
Orchestrate.
He helped orchestrate the entire event.
The manager will orchestrate the team's efforts.
Grail.
The scientist's grail was a cure for the disease.
Finding the artifact became his personal grail.
Freshman.
The freshman students attended the orientation session.
He was nervous about starting as a college freshman.
Mire.
They found themselves in a mire of bureaucratic red tape.
The car was stuck in the mire after the heavy rain.
Foreclose.
The bank decided to foreclose on the property.
They faced foreclosure after missing several mortgage payments.
Axle.
A broken axle caused the vehicle to be towed.
The mechanic inspected the car's axle for damage.
Yen.
She had a yen for adventure and travel.
He exchanged his dollars for yen before the trip to Japan.
Bungle.
The project was bungled due to poor planning.
They managed to bungle the simple task.
Exposition.
The exposition showcased new technology and innovations.
He gave a clear exposition of his research findings.
Default.
They defaulted on their loan payments and faced penalties.
The default setting can be changed in the Preferences menu.
Postulate.
He postulated a new theory based on the data.
The hypothesis was postulated by several researchers.
Diocese.
The bishop oversees the entire diocese.
The diocese is planning to build a new church.
Unicorn.
The children loved the story about the magical unicorn.
The startup became a unicorn with a billion-dollar valuation.
Bulkhead.
They reinforced the bulkhead for added safety.
The bulkhead separated the cabin from the cargo area.
Advent.
The advent of the Internet changed how we communicate.
They celebrated the advent of the new year with fireworks.
Downright.
The situation is downright dangerous.
His behavior was downright rude.
Trio.
The trio performed a beautiful piece at the concert.
They formed a trio to work on the project together.
Flagging.
His energy levels were flagging after the long day.
The company's flagging sales needed urgent attention.
Brim.
The cup was filled to the brim with coffee.
Her eyes brimmed with tears of joy.
Perimeter.
We measured the perimeter of the garden.
The guards patrolled the perimeter of the compound.
Emulate.
He tries to emulate his father's work ethic.
The program is designed to emulate the old computer system.
Trillion.
The company is valued at over $1 trillion.
The national debt has reached several trillion dollars.
Jungle.
They explored the dense jungle during their trip.
The concrete jungle of the city can be overwhelming.
Fraction.
Only a fraction of the population participated in the survey.
He solved the fraction problem in his math class.
Spire.
The church's spire could be seen from miles away.
They climbed to the top of the spire for a better view.
Babe.
He called his girlfriend babe as a term of endearment.
The babe was fast asleep in her crib.
Nonchalant.
He gave a nonchalant shrug in response to the question.
She seemed nonchalant about the important meeting.
Biopsy.
The biopsy results came back negative.
The doctor performed a biopsy to test for cancer.
Puree.
She made a delicious tomato puree for the sauce.
The baby food was a smooth puree of vegetables.
Umbrella.
The policy served as an umbrella to cover multiple risks.
She carried an umbrella in case of rain.
Anticipate.
They anticipate a large crowd at the event.
She could hardly anticipate the surprise awaiting her.
Drill.
He used a drill to make holes in the wall.
The teacher conducted a fire drill at school.
Deity.
The ancient Greeks worshipped many deities.
They made offerings to the deity of the harvest.
Keyboard.
The musician played a melody on the keyboard.
She types quickly on her computer keyboard.
Bolt.
He tightened the bolt to secure the shelf.
The rabbit made a quick bolt for the bushes.
Embryo.
The embryo showed signs of healthy growth.
The scientists studied the development of the embryo.
Calculus.
She found calculus to be the most challenging part of her math course.
He spent hours studying for his calculus exam.
Course.
His coarse manners made him unpopular at the formal dinner.
The coarse sand felt rough under her feet.
Dismay.
To her dismay, the event was cancelled at the last minute.
He looked at the broken vase with dismay.
Overwhelm.
She was overwhelmed with joy at the surprise party.
The workload began to overwhelm the new employee.
Session.
The training session lasted for 3 hours.
They scheduled a brainstorming session for next week.
Ole.
The Spanish dancers performed with an energetic ole.
The crowd shouted "Ole" as the bullfighter dodged the bull.
Mesh.
The wire mesh fence enclosed the garden.
Their ideas seemed to mesh perfectly.
Sheepish.
She felt sheepish for forgetting her friend's birthday.
He gave a sheepish grin after making the mistake.
Drake.
The drake swam gracefully across the pond.
They observed the drake as it protected its nest.
Finale.
The grand finale of the concert was spectacular.
The season finale left viewers eager for more.
Mini.
She bought a mini version of the popular toy.
The mini cupcakes were a hit at the party.
Taught.
She kept her muscles taut during the exercise.
The rope was pulled taut to secure the tent.
Scrabble.
They played a competitive game of Scrabble.
He tried to scrabble together the last few pieces of the puzzle.
Unity.
The festival celebrated cultural unity and diversity.
The team emphasized unity to achieve their goals.
Intern.
The intern worked hard to impress the supervisors.
She completed her internship at a law firm.
Triumph.
He felt a sense of triumph after completing the marathon.
Their victory was a triumph over adversity.
Fairway.
The golfer aimed for the fairway with his first shot.
The fairway was lined with beautiful trees.
Citadel.
They toured the historic citadel during their visit.
The ancient citadel stood atop the hill.
Inferior.
The product was of inferior quality compared to the original.
She felt inferior, despite her many achievements.
Scowl.
The teacher's scowl warned the students to be quiet.
He couldn't help but scowl at the rude comment.
Seize.
The police moved quickly to seize the stolen goods.
She decided to seize the opportunity presented to her.
Detract.
Don't let a small mistake detract from your overall success.
The noisy construction work detracts from the peaceful atmosphere.
Cosmos.
They marveled at the vast cosmos through the telescope.
The documentary explored the mysteries of the cosmos.
Perpetual.
The perpetual motion machine remains a scientific impossibility.
The region is in a state of perpetual conflict.
Melodramatic.
His reaction to the news was overly melodramatic.
The melodramatic play captivated the audience.
Imp.
She called her little brother an imp for hiding her shoes.
The mischievous imp caused trouble wherever he went.
Pebble.
She skipped a pebble across the surface of the lake.
The pebble got stuck in his shoe as he walked.
Sketchy.
The neighborhood seemed sketchy late at night.
The details of his plan were still sketchy.
Wan.
Her wan complexion worried her friends.
He gave a wan smile as he struggled to stay awake.
Airline.
She booked her flight through the airline's website.
The airline announced a new route to Paris.
Restrict.
They decided to restrict access to the private event.
The diet plan restricts the intake of sugars and fats.
Nationality.
The festival celebrated the nationality of each participant.
She proudly declared her nationality during the interview.
cruise,
They went on a Mediterranean cruise for their honeymoon.
He enjoyed a leisurely cruise down the river.
contrive,
She tried to contrive an excuse to leave early.
They managed to contrive a way to escape.
buffer,
The mediator acted as a buffer between the arguing parties.
The park serves as a buffer zone between the residential area and the highway.
hearty,
His hearty laugh filled the room.
They enjoyed a hearty meal after the hike.
ranch,
They visited a cattle ranch in Texas.
The ranch was known for its high-quality beef.
feeble,
The old dog gave a feeble bark.
His feeble attempt to lift the box made everyone laugh.
rugby,
He joined the rugby team at his university.
Rugby is a popular sport in many countries.
mega,
The store is having a mega sale this weekend.
They planned a mega event for the company's anniversary.
Samaritan,
A good Samaritan helped her change the flat tire.
He thanked the Samaritan who returned his lost wallet.
a while,
It took a while for them to find the right address.
She decided to rest a while before continuing her work.
abnormal,
The doctor noted the abnormal test results.
The weather this year has been quite abnormal.
morale,
High morale is essential for a productive workforce.
The manager's encouragement boosted the team's morale.
fizz,
She enjoyed the fizz of the soda on a hot day.
The champagne had lost its fizz by the end of the party.
legend,
He became a legend in the sports world for his achievements.
The legend of King Arthur has been told for centuries.
tractor,
The farmer used a tractor to plow the fields.
The new tractor made farming much easier.
compile,
The software can compile code quickly and efficiently.
She worked to compile a list of resources for the project.
meteor,
They watched a meteor streak across the night sky.
The meteor shower was a spectacular sight.
oval,
The stadium has an oval shape.
The table was decorated with a beautiful oval vase.
quizzical,
He gave her a quizzical look, not understanding the joke.
Her quizzical expression showed she was confused.
disparate,
The two theories seemed entirely disparate at first glance.
The project brought together people from disparate backgrounds.
pry,
She tried to pry open the stock drawer.
He didn't mean to pry into her personal affairs.
thrush,
The doctor treated the baby's oral thrush with medication.
The thrush sang beautifully in the early morning.
glee,
The children's faces were filled with glee at the sight of the presents.
He couldn't hide his glee after winning the competition.
curd,
The curd was fresh and delicious.
She used curd to make a traditional dish.
donate,
They decided to donate their old clothes to charity.
She regularly donates blood to the local hospital.
beak,
The parrot's beak was sharp and colorful.
The bird used its beak to pick up the seeds.
patter,
They enjoyed the gentle patter of rain on the roof.
The children's feet made a soft patter on the wooden floor.
pivot,
The company decided to pivot its strategy to focus on online sales.
He used his left foot as a pivot to turn quickly.
Cuisine.
She loves Italian cuisine for its rich flavors.
The restaurant is famous for its gourmet cuisine.
Audience.
He tailored his speech to the interests of his audience.
The audience applauded after the performance.
Frigate.
The Navy commissioned a new frigate to patrol the seas.
The frigate was equipped with the latest technology.
Grime.
It took hours to scrub the grime off the old tiles.
The window was covered in grime after the storm.
Bravo.
The audience shouted bravo after the amazing performance.
He received a loud bravo for his impressive speech.
Pale.
The pale light of dawn crept through the window.
She looked pale after feeling unwell all morning.
Condominium.
They bought a condominium in the city center.
The condominium complex has a swimming pool and gym.
Whitewash.
The team was determined to avoid a whitewash in the series.
They used whitewash to paint the old fence.
Internal.
The internal structure of the building needs repair.
She struggled with her internal conflict about the decision.
Truss.
He wore a truss to support his injured back.
The engineers designed a strong truss for the bridge.
Gap.
There was a gap between the wall and the floor.
The new policy aims to close the gap between rich and poor.
Emerge.
The truth began to emerge during the investigation.
The butterfly will emerge from its cocoon.
Pair.
She enjoyed a fresh pear for breakfast.
The pear tree in the garden was full of fruit.
Grill.
The car's front grille was shiny and new.
He decided to grill some steaks for dinner.
Disaffect.
The new policies may disaffect the employees.
A series of scandals began to disaffect the public.
Sour.
Their friendship turned sour after the argument.
The milk had gone sour overnight.
Perpetrate.
They were caught trying to perpetrate a fraud.
The crime was perpetrated in the middle of the night.
Factory.
He works at a car factory on the assembly line.
The factory produces thousands of units each day.
Surge.
There was a surge in demand for the new product.
Crowds surged forward when the gates opened.
Communion.
They shared a sense of communion with each other.
The church held a special communion service on Sunday.
Deleterious.
The chemicals have deleterious effects on the environment.
His actions had a deleterious impact on his health.
Topography.
She studied the topography of the island for her research.
The topography of the region includes mountains and valleys.
Lung.
Smoking can cause serious lung diseases.
He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with fresh air.
Pier.
The fishermen docked their boats at the pier.
They walked along the pier to watch the sunset.
Scald.
Be careful not to scald yourself with the hot water.
She scalded her hand while cooking.
Museum.
The museum has an impressive collection of ancient artifacts.
They visited the art museum over the weekend.
Reconcile.
They made an effort to reconcile after the argument.
The accountant had to reconcile the accounts.
Metropolis.
The metropolis is known for its diverse culture and nightlife.
New York City is a bustling metropolis.
Empathy.
She showed great empathy towards her friend's troubles.
Empathy is an important quality for a counselor.
Ergonomics.
Ergonomics plays a crucial role in preventing workplace injuries.
The new office chairs are designed with ergonomics in mind.
Brassiere.
She bought a new brassiere from the boutique.
The brassiere was designed for comfort and support.
Barrage.
He faced a barrage of questions during the interview.
The army launched a barrage of missiles at the enemy.
Pronouncement.
The judge's pronouncement was clear and final.
The official pronouncement was made at the press conference.
Lure.
The advertisement was designed to lure customers.
They used a worm to lure the fish.
Belated.
She sent a belated birthday card to her friend.
His apology was sincere, but belated.
Grandeur.
They were awed by the grandeur of the mountains.
The grandeur of the palace was breathtaking.
Consult.
She decided to consult a lawyer about the issue.
The doctor will consult with a specialist.
Raven.
The raven's feathers were glossy and black.
The raven perched on the branch, watching closely.
Ignorant.
He was ignorant of the rules and made several mistakes.
She didn't want to appear ignorant during the discussion.
Crystal.
She admired the clear crystal of the lake's water.
The crystal chandelier sparkled in the light.
Amphibian.
The frog is a common amphibian found in many ponds.
Amphibian species can live both on land and in water.
Silicon.
The beach had fine grains of silicon sand.
Silicon is used to make computer chips.
Tang.
The tang of the lemon made my mouth pucker.
I enjoyed the tang of the fresh orange juice.
Synthesis.
Protein synthesis is essential for cell growth.
The scientist worked on the synthesis of new compounds.
Exhibit.
The museum will exhibit ancient artifacts next month.
The artist's exhibit drew large crowds.
Inseparable.
Love and trust are inseparable in a strong relationship.
The two friends were inseparable throughout school.
Anew.
After the storm, we rebuilt our home anew.
She decided to start her career anew in a different city.
Construct.
We need to construct a plan for the project.
The workers will construct a new bridge over the river.
Predispose.
Poor diet can predispose people to various health issues.
Genetics can predispose someone to certain conditions.
Dimple.
The baby had a cute dimple when he laughed.
Her smile revealed a charming dimple on her cheek.
Orchestra.
The orchestra played a beautiful symphony.
She joined the school orchestra as a violinist.
Caustic.
His caustic remarks hurt her feelings.
The cleaner has a caustic effect on metal surfaces.
Calamity.
The earthquake was a terrible calamity for the city.
Losing her job felt like a personal calamity.
Psychosocial.
Psychosocial factors can influence overall health.
The program offers psychosocial support for patients.
Duet.
The singers performed a beautiful duet.
They practiced their duet for the talent show.
Testimonial.
His testimonial convinced others to donate.
She gave a heartfelt testimonial about the charity's impact.
Wharf.
The boat was docked at the wharf.
Fishermen unloaded their catch at the wharf.
Marmalade.
She made homemade marmalade from oranges.
I spread marmalade on my toast every morning.
Dice.
We use dice to play the board game.
She taught him how to dice vegetables.
Whiff.
He got a whiff of perfume as she walked by.
I caught a whiff of fresh bread from the bakery.
Figurative.
The poem was rich in figurative language.
Breaking the ice is a figurative expression.
Journalism.
Investigative journalism can uncover hidden truths.
She studied journalism in college.
Interact.
The teacher encouraged students to interact during class.
Children need to interact with their peers.
Tempest.
His emotions were like a raging tempest.
The ship struggled through the tempest.
Ponderous.
The ponderous elephant moved slowly.
He gave a ponderous sigh before answering.
Gnaw.
Worry began to gnaw at her mind.
The puppy liked to gnaw on his toy.
Cell.
The prisoner was locked in a small cell.
Each cell in the body has a specific function.
Mesmerize.
She was able to mesmerize everyone with her voice.
The magician's tricks will mesmerize the audience.
Curriculum.
The school offers a diverse curriculum.
The new curriculum includes more science classes.
Stock.
He snapped the cornstalk in half.
The tiger began to stalk its prey.
Ignite.
The spark will ignite the fireworks.
His speech helped to ignite the crowd's enthusiasm.
quench,
The firefighters worked to quench the flames.
Water can quench your thirst on a hot day.
coefficient,
The math problem included a large coefficient.
They calculated the coefficient of friction.
escalate,
Prices tend to escalate during the holiday season.
The argument began to escalate quickly.
construe,
How did you construe his message?
Her silence could be construed as agreement.
coronation,
People gathered to witness the coronation ceremony.
The coronation of the new king was a grand event.
eyelash,
She had a long eyelash stuck on her cheek.
He made a wish and blew away the fallen eyelash.
wag,
He gave a playful wag of his finger.
The dog began to wag its tail happily.
fauna,
The park is home to diverse fauna.
They studied the fauna of the rainforest.
blotch,
A red blotch appeared on her skin.
The ink left a blotch on the paper.
pang,
She felt a pang of guilt after lying.
He experienced a sharp pang of hunger.
autonomous,
The region sought to become autonomous.
The robot is capable of autonomous operation.
woe,
She told a tale of great woe.
His heart was filled with woe after the loss.
blaze,
Firefighters worked to control the blaze.
The campfire began to blaze brightly.
jumble,
The drawer was a jumble of papers and pens.
His thoughts were a jumble of confusion.
personalize,
She likes to personalize her phone case.
You can personalize the gift with a name.
Dynamic.
The duo has a dynamic partnership.
The city has a dynamic economy.
Ovary.
She learned about the ovary in biology class.
The doctor explained how the ovary functions.
Virgin.
The forest was a virgin wilderness.
They used virgin olive oil in the recipe.
Jazz.
She loves listening to jazz music.
We went to a jazz concert last night.
Uptake.
Plants have a high uptake of nutrients from the soil.
The uptake of the new software was impressive.
Shepherd.
They hired a shepherd to care for the sheep.
The shepherd guided his flock through the field.
Consign.
He decided to consign his old books to a charity.
The package was consigned to the customer.
Nostril.
The smell of flowers filled his nostril.
She flared her nostril in annoyance.
Carnation.
She pinned a red carnation to her dress.
The garden was full of blooming carnations.
Multiple.
There are multiple solutions to the problem.
He has multiple hobbies to keep him busy.
Torrent.
The rain came down in a torrent.
He faced a torrent of questions after his speech.
Blob.
The ink formed a blob on the paper.
A blob of paint fell on the floor.
Hinterland.
They explored the remote hinterland of the country.
The hinterland is sparsely populated.
Aquarium.
He has a small aquarium with colorful fish.
The children enjoyed visiting the aquarium.
Cyst.
The doctor removed the cyst from her arm.
She was worried about the cyst on her pet's paw.
Jaded.
She became jaded with the constant travel.
He felt jaded after years of working long hours.
Morphology.
They studied the morphology of different plant species.
Linguists analyze the morphology of words.
Rottweiler.
She has a well-trained Rottweiler at home.
The Rottweiler barked at the stranger.
Nylon.
Her dress was made of shiny nylon.
The tent was made of durable nylon.
Tusk.
They found an ancient tusk in the cave.
The elephant's tusk was very long.
Quiver.
He felt his hands quiver with excitement.
The archer reached for an arrow from the quiver.
Stereo.
The stereo system has excellent sound quality.
He played music through the stereo.
Palette.
The artist mixed colors on the palette.
She chose a soft color palette for her room.
Inverse.
The operation produced an inverse result.
There's an inverse relationship between supply and demand.
Camaraderie.
The team built a strong camaraderie over the season.
Their camaraderie was evident during the reunion.
Malleable.
Children's minds are highly malleable.
The metal is malleable and easy to shape.
Awe.
The sight of the Grand Canyon filled them with awe.
He gazed in awe at the starry sky.
Component.
Each component of the machine must be checked.
The engine's main component was damaged.
Dignify.
She tried to dignify her response despite the insult.
They sought to dignify their achievements.
Proof.
She showed proof of her identity.
The proof of his theory was convincing.
Gull.
A gull flew overhead near the beach.
The gulls gathered around the fishing boats.
Globe.
She has a globe in her study room.
The globe spins on its axis.
Consumption.
The doctor advised reducing sugar consumption.
Their household energy consumption is high.
Sheer.
She wore a dress made of sheer fabric.
The sheer size of the building was impressive.
Substance.
The scientist examined the unknown substance.
He added a substance to the mixture.
Syndrome.
The patient showed signs of a rare syndrome.
Down syndrome is a genetic disorder.
Wicket.
The bowler aimed at the wicket.
He guarded the wicket carefully during the game.
Stew.
Let the stew simmer for an hour.
She cooked a delicious beef stew.
Efficient.
The new system is much more efficient.
They hired an efficient manager.
Intricate.
Solving the puzzle required intricate thinking.
The lace had an intricate design.
Hum.
She liked to hum while working.
There was a constant hum from the air conditioner.
Severe.
He suffered from severe headaches.
The storm caused severe damage.
Amalgamate.
The two companies decided to amalgamate.
Different cultures can amalgamate in cities.
Vault.
He performed a perfect vault in gymnastics.
The treasure was stored in a secure vault.
J.
A blue jay landed on the branch.
The jay is known for its colorful feathers.
Bovine.
The bovine herd grazed in the field.
They raise bovine animals on the farm.
Exclude.
They decided to exclude him from the meeting.
The price excludes tax and shipping.
Yoke.
They worked hard to free themselves from the yoke of oppression.
The farmer used a yoke to join the oxen.
Nimble.
The gymnast's movements were quick and nimble.
He is a nimble thinker, able to solve problems quickly.
Amass.
They began to amass supplies for the winter.
He managed to amass a fortune over the years.
Subsist.
They had to subsist on very little food.
The villagers subsist mainly on farming.
Juncture.
The two roads meet at a critical juncture.
At this juncture, we need to make a decision.
Blunt.
He gave a blunt answer to the question.
The knife was too blunt to cut the bread.
Pothole.
They need to fix the pothole before it causes more damage.
The car hit a pothole on the road.
Reverberate.
The sound of the gong will reverberate throughout the hall.
His words continued to reverberate in her mind long after the meeting.
Ostensible.
The ostensible purpose of the event was to raise awareness.
His ostensible reason for the visit was to check on her health.
Proletarian.
The factory was full of hard-working proletarian laborers.
The novel depicted the struggles of proletarian life.
Category.
She won first place in her age category.
The books were organized by category on the shelves.
Opera.
They went to see an Italian opera last night.
The opera singer's performance was stunning.
Debit.
He used his debit card to pay for groceries.
She noticed a new debit on her bank statement.
Urchin.
The little urchin ran barefoot through the streets.
We found a sea urchin while snorkeling.
Premium.
The health insurance premium increased this year.
They paid a premium for the luxury apartment.
Hernia.
He had surgery to repair a hernia.
A hernia can cause significant discomfort and pain.
Symbol.
The dove is often used as a symbol of peace.
The heart is a universal symbol of love.
Revamp.
They decided to revamp the old website.
The company plans to revamp its marketing strategy.
Spoon.
The baby learned to eat with a spoon.
She used a spoon to stir her coffee.
Poultry.
They raised poultry on their farm.
The recipe calls for a variety of poultry.
Pupil.
The doctor checked the patient's pupil reaction.
The teacher praised her pupil for his progress.
Handsome.
He is a very handsome actor.
She received a handsome reward for her efforts.
Dejected.
She looked dejected when she heard the bad news.
He felt dejected after losing the game.
Inoculate.
The doctor will inoculate the children against the flu.
It's important to inoculate pets to keep them healthy.
Source.
Always check the source of your information.
The river is the main source of water for the village.
Chirp.
I woke up to the sound of birds chirping.
Crickets began to chirp as night fell.
monastic,
The monastic community follows strict rules.
He spent a year living a monastic life in the mountains.
vantage,
From this vantage point, you can see the entire valley.
They took a position with a good vantage of the battlefield.
font,
The document was printed in a classic serif font.
She chose a new font for her project.
retreat,
The army had to retreat after the surprise attack.
They went on a retreat to relax and recharge.
haunt,
The memories of the past continued to haunt her.
The old house is said to be haunted.
parse,
The software can parse large amounts of data.
He took time to parse the complex sentence.
phoneme,
Linguists study the phonemes of different languages.
A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound in speech.
relegate,
They decided to relegate the task to a junior employee.
The team was relegated to a lower division.
particulate,
High levels of particulate pollution can harm health.
The air filter removes particulate matter from the air.
chemical,
They conducted a chemical analysis of the soil.
Be careful when handling chemical substances.
rejoice,
We should rejoice in the success of our friends.
They will rejoice when the war is over.
salon,
She opened a new hair salon downtown.
They met at a literary salon to discuss books.
trump,
Her determination will trump any obstacle.
He played the ace of spades to trump his opponent.
cartoon,
The children watched a funny cartoon on TV.
He drew a cartoon of the politicians.
squeal,
She let out a squeal of delight when she saw the surprise.
The pigs began to squeal loudly.
Informal.
The meeting was informal and relaxed.
They wore informal clothes for the picnic.
Tiger.
The zoo has a new tiger exhibit.
The tiger roamed freely in the jungle.
Pouch.
The kangaroo carried her baby in a pouch.
He kept his coins in a small leather pouch.
Tilt.
The picture frame was slightly tilted.
She had to tilt the camera to get a better angle.
Retention.
The company focuses on employee retention.
Good retention of information is crucial for exams.
Antiquated.
His views on technology are quite antiquated.
The office still uses antiquated equipment.
Esteem.
She is held in high esteem by her colleagues.
It's important to have good self-esteem.
Usher.
The ceremony will usher in a new era of peace.
The usher guided us to our seats.
Survey.
They conducted a survey to gather customer feedback.
The land survey revealed the property's boundaries.
Straight.
The strait connects two large bodies of water.
The ship sailed through the narrow strait.
Flagrant.
He was fined for his flagrant disregard of the rules.
The act was a flagrant violation of human rights.
Arid.
They struggled to grow crops in the arid soil.
The desert is an arid region with little rainfall.
Powder.
She sprinkled powder on her face.
The recipe calls for a tablespoon of baking powder.
Microcosm.
Classroom was a microcosm of society.
The small town is a microcosm of the entire country.
Righteous.
He is known for his righteous actions.
They fought for a righteous cause.
Doe.
The hunter spotted a doe in the forest.
A doe and her fawn cross the road.
Thermal.
He wore a thermal jacket to stay warm.
The thermal springs are popular with tourists.
Ginger.
Ginger tea is good for digestion.
She added ginger to the stir-fry for extra flavor.
Merge.
The two companies decided to merge.
The lanes merge just ahead on the highway.
Flint.
The archaeologists found tools made of flint.
He used flint to start the campfire.
Enthuse.
She loves to enthuse about her favorite books.
He didn't seem to enthuse over the new project.
Torso.
He has a tattoo on his torso.
The statue was missing its head and torso.
Ingest.
You should not ingest unknown substances.
The fish can ingest small particles of plastic.
Plummet.
Temperatures will plummet overnight.
The stock prices began to plummet after the announcement.
Reprisal.
They feared reprisal for their actions.
The attack was in reprisal for the earlier incident.
Cartridge.
He loaded the cartridge into the rifle.
The printer is out of ink and needs a new cartridge.
Fond.
She has many fond memories of her childhood.
He is fond of playing the piano.
Thistle.
A thistle pricked his finger as he walked by.
The field was full of purple thistle.
Sonar.
The submarine uses sonar to navigate underwater.
Sonar technology can detect objects in the ocean.
Solve.
They worked together to solve the puzzle.
She loves to solve complex math problems.
Household.
They bought new appliances for the household.
The household income has increased this year.
Pinpoint.
The doctor was able to pinpoint the cause of the pain.
They need to pinpoint the exact location.
Veritable.
The garden was a veritable paradise.
The trip turned out to be a veritable disaster.
Mild.
He prefers mild salsa over the spicy kind.
The weather today is mild and pleasant.
Nasal.
She had a nasal voice due to her cold.
The nasal passages can become blocked during a cold.
Dissatisfy.
They tried to fix the issues that dissatisfy their clients.
The service was so poor, it will dissatisfy any customer.
Tubular.
The structure has a tubular design.
She wore a tubular dress to the party.
Surf.
Life as a serf was hard and demanding.
The serf worked the land for the Lord.
Incorporate.
They decided to incorporate new techniques into their training.
The company plans to incorporate in Delaware.
Caviar.
He had never tasted caviar before the party.
They served caviar as an appetizer.
Longitudinal.
They conducted a longitudinal study over 10 years.
The longitudinal analysis showed consistent results.
Countenance.
He maintained a calm countenance throughout the crisis.
Her countenance showed she was upset.
Data.
The scientist analyzed the data from the experiment.
They need more data to support their theory.
Presidency.
His presidency was marked by significant reforms.
She announced her candidacy for the presidency.
Horizon.
The sun set below the horizon.
They looked forward to new horizons.
Scout.
He used to be a Boy Scout in his youth.
The scout reported back with important information.
Fiver.
He gave the waiter a fiver as a tip.
I found a fiver in my coat pocket.
Broccoli.
Broccoli is rich in vitamins and minerals.
She steamed some broccoli for dinner.
Allege.
They allege that he committed the crime.
The report will allege misconduct in the office.
Fury.
The storm unleashed its fury on the coast.
He was filled with fury after the argument.
Mormon.
The Mormon community is well known in Utah.
She learned about the Mormon faith from her friend.
Rural.
Rural communities often have close-knit populations.
They live in a rural area far from the city.
Laurel.
He was crowned with a laurel wreath.
The poet received a laurel for his achievements.
Comparative.
She took a class in comparative literature.
The study included a comparative analysis of two groups.
Profound.
His speech had a profound impact on the audience.
The book offers profound insights into human nature.
Coup.
The pigeons began to coo in the early morning.
The baby let out a soft coo.
Lope.
The horse began to lope across the field.
He saw a deer lope through the forest.
Undertaker.
The town's undertaker has been in business for years.
The undertaker prepared the body for the funeral.
Foe.
He regarded his competitor as a worthy foe.
In the story, the hero defeats his foe.
Caramel.
The caramel sauce was rich and sweet.
She loves to add caramel to her coffee.
Magnet.
The magnet stuck to the refrigerator door.
She is a magnet for trouble.
Caterpillar.
We found a green caterpillar on the leaf.
The caterpillar will eventually transform into a butterfly.
Idol.
She looked up to the singer as her idol.
The ancient idol was discovered in the ruins.
Transport.
The transport of hazardous materials requires special permits.
They use trucks to transport goods across the country.
Drench.
The rain will drench you if you don't take an umbrella.
He was drenched in sweat after the workout.
Frantic.
The crowd became frantic when the alarm sounded.
She made a frantic search for her lost keys.